Building a strong mind is not about becoming loud, aggressive, or fearless on the outside. It is about becoming unshakable on the inside. A strong mind is calm when the world is noisy, focused when distractions are everywhere, and grounded when life tries to pull you apart. And that kind of strength does not scare people because you threaten them. It scares them because you are no longer controlled by their opinions, their expectations, or their limitations. A strong mind begins with understanding that nothing changes unless you do. Education is not only found in books or classrooms, it is found in how you respond to hardship. Life will test you, not to break you, but to teach you who you are becoming. Every challenge carries a lesson, and every lesson, if learned honestly, builds mental resilience. When you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" your mind begins to grow stronger. Pain is inevitable, but remaining powerless is a choice. A strong mind does not deny pain, it studies it. It asks what needs healing, what needs acceptance, and what needs courage. When you treat pain as a teacher, you stop being afraid of it. You stop running from discomfort and start using it as a tool for growth. This mindset is educational because it trains the brain to convert emotional experiences into wisdom instead of wounds. Self-discipline is one of the strongest signs of mental power. When you do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, you are training your mind to lead instead of being led by emotions. A strong mind understands that motivation is temporary, but discipline creates transformation. You don't wait for confidence to act. You act, and confidence follows. This habit teaches the brain that consistency is more powerful than intensity. A strong mind also knows the value of silence. Not every thought needs to be shared, and not every battle needs to be explained. When you set boundaries, you protect your mental energy. You stop over-explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. This is not arrogance, this is clarity. Education teaches us that focus increases performance, and mentally strong people guard their focus fiercely. Your inner dialogue is the classroom where your mind is shaped. If you speak to yourself with doubt, fear, and criticism, your mind learns weakness. If you speak to yourself with honesty, compassion, and accountability, your mind learns strength. What you repeatedly tell yourself becomes your belief system. A strong mind is trained through intentional self-talk that encourages growth instead of reinforcing fear. Purpose is what turns mental strength into impact. When you know why you are enduring the struggle no longer controls you. Purpose gives direction to pain and meaning to discipline. It teaches your mind that you are not surviving randomly, you are preparing intentionally. This is the kind of strength that scares people, because you are no longer reactive, desperate, or dependent on validation. A strong mind does not shout its power. It walks calmly, stands firmly, and moves forward with quiet confidence. It is built through learning, reflection, discipline, and purpose. And when your mind becomes strong, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your resilience speaks for itself. A strong mind is not something you wake up with one morning like a miracle. It is something you construct every single day with intention, awareness, and courage. People often look at mentally strong individuals and assume they were born different, tougher, luckier, but the truth is far less glamorous and far more powerful. A strong mind is built in moments when no one is watching, when you choose growth over excuses, responsibility over blame, and learning over complaining. It is built when life disappoints you and you still decide not to quit on yourself. This is where education truly begins, not in theory, but in lived experience. You build a strong mind the same way you build a strong muscle, through resistance. Comfort does not educate the brain, struggle does. Every time you face fear and do not run, your mind learns bravery. Every time you fail and do not collapse into self-pity, your mind learns resilience. This is not about pretending everything is fine, it is about training yourself to respond instead of react. When something goes wrong, the weak mind asks for sympathy, the growing mind asks for strategy. And that shift does not happen overnight. It happens through repetition, through conscious effort, through choosing awareness again and again. A strong mind is built when you stop waiting for perfect condition. Waiting weakens the mind because it teaches dependency. Doing strengthens the mind because it teaches capability. You don't become confident and then take action. You take action while scared, and confidence follows quietly. Each small promise you keep to yourself, becomes a brick in the foundation of your mental strength. Waking up when you said you would, finishing what you started, saying no when you mean no, these small acts educate your mind to trust you. Your mind is always learning, even when you are not aware of it. It learns from what you tolerate, what you repeat, and what you accept as normal. If you tolerate disrespect, your mind learns that you deserve less. If you repeat negative self-talk, your mind learns limitation. If you accept chaos as normal, your mind learns confusion. Building a strong mind means becoming intentional about what you allow to shape you. It means correcting yourself gently but firmly, like a teacher who believes in the student's potential. Pain is not proof of weakness. Avoiding pain is. Every time you sit with discomfort, instead of escaping it, your mind grows. This is where emotional education happens. You learn that emotions are messages, not commands. You learn that you can feel fear and still move forward, feel sadness and still function, feel uncertainty and still choose. This understanding separates the mentally strong from the mentally exhausted. A strong mind is built when you stop outsourcing your worth to opinions. When you stop needing applause to feel valid. When you stop explaining your dreams to people who don't understand your journey. This independence does not make you cold, makes you focused. You begin to realize that not everyone needs access to your inner world. Protecting your energy becomes a form of self-respect. And self-respect is one of the highest forms of mental education. You don't build a strong mind by being hard on yourself. You build it by being honest with yourself. Honest about your fears, your limits, your patterns, and your potential. Growth begins the moment you stop lying to yourself about what needs to change and choose to become a student of your own life, learning daily through discipline, reflection, and courage, even on days when motivation is absent and strength feels quiet but present. Pain is not here to destroy you. Pain is here to educate you. But only if you stop running from it and start listening to it. Most people treat pain like an enemy, something to hide, something to deny, something to rush past as quickly as possible, but that is exactly why it keeps returning in different forms. Pain repeats itself until the lesson is learned. A strong mind understands this early, and instead of asking for escape, it asks for understanding. Instead of saying this is unfair, it says this is forming me. You don't become mentally strong by avoiding pain. You become mentally strong by surviving it consciously. Pain exposes what comfort hides. It reveals your coping patterns, your fears, your emotional discipline, and your self-belief. When something hurts, it is showing you where growth is required. Ignoring pain does not make you strong, it makes you numb. Facing pain with awareness makes you powerful because now you are learning. Instead of bleeding silently, every hardship carries instructions. Loss teaches detachment. Failure teaches humility and strategy. Rejection teaches self-worth beyond validation. Loneliness teaches self-reliance. Pain is not random. It is specific. It targets areas where you need maturity, strength, and clarity. A weak mind asks, why me? A growing mind asks, what now? That shift alone changes how pain shapes you. When you extract wisdom from suffering, pain loses its control over you. Stop turning pain into your identity. You are not your trauma. You are not your wounds. You are not your worst day. Pain is an experience, not a definition. The moment you start introducing yourself to life through your suffering, you imprison yourself in it. A strong mind visits pain, studies it, learns from it, and then leaves it behind. It does not build a home there. Healing and begins when you refuse to let pain become your personality. Pain also teaches patience. It slows you down so you can see clearly. In a world obsessed with speed, pain forces reflection. It asks you to pause, to process, to realign. This is where emotional intelligence is built. You learn that reacting immediately often deepens the wound, while responding thoughtfully creates strength. Pain trains your nervous system to tolerate discomfort without panic, and this tolerance becomes emotional stability. Do not rush your healing just to look strong. Suppressed pain leaks into your behavior, your relationships, your decision. A strong mind gives pain space without giving it power. It allows emotions to be felt without letting them control actions. This balance is not weakness, it is mastery. When you can feel deeply and still function wisely, you have developed real mental strength. Pain also strips illusions. It removes fake support, fake confidence, fake priorities. It shows you who stays, what matters, and what needs to go. Though this feels brutal, it is necessary. Growth is rarely gentle. Pain clears space for authenticity. It removes what no longer serves your evolution. If you let it, pain will simplify your life and sharpen your focus. Remember this clearly: pain does not come to punish you. It comes to prepare you. Every scar is evidence of survival. Every tear carries information. Every breakdown contains a breakthrough waiting to be claimed. When you stop asking pain to leave and start asking it to teach, you step into a level of mental strength that cannot be shaken by circumstance, because you no longer fear what once tried to break you. Self-discipline is not punishment, it is protection. It is the decision to honor your future self, even when your present self wants comfort. A strong mind understands that every undisciplined choice feels good for a moment, but costs you later. Why? Every disciplined choice may feel hard now, but pays you back with confidence, stability, and self-respect. When you lack discipline, life controls you. When you build discipline, you take control of your life one decision at a time. Stop waiting to feel inspired. Inspiration is unreliable, discipline is not. If you only act when you feel motivated, you are training your mind to obey moods instead of values. A strong mind does not ask how it feels before doing what is necessary. It asks what is required and then commits. This is how trust is built with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when no one is watching, your mind learns that you are dependable. And self-trust is one of the strongest forms of confidence. Discipline is choosing structure over chaos. Chaos drains mental energy, structure protects it. When you wake up at random times, eat without awareness, scroll without limits, and react without thought, your mind stays scattered. Discipline brings order, and order brings clarity. Simple routines educate the brain to focus, us to prioritize, to finish. You don't need extreme discipline, you need consistent discipline. Small repeated actions shape a strong mind far more than dramatic one. Time efforts. A disciplined mind does not negotiate with excuses. Excuses feel logical, but they weaken you silently. They teach your mind that quitting is acceptable, that comfort is a valid reason to stop. Each excuse lowers your tolerance for effort. Discipline raises it. When you push through resistance, your mind expands its capacity. What felt impossible yesterday becomes normal tomorrow. This is how mental strength compounds. Self-discipline is also emotional control. A strong mind does not let emotions dictate behavior. Feeling angry does not justify cruelty. Feeling tired does not justify giving up. Feeling bored does not justify distraction. Discipline teaches you to pause, to breathe, to choose your response. This emotional regulation is a form of intelligence. It allows you to stay calm under pressure and focused under stress. And this calmness intimidates people who are used to chaos. Respect yourself enough to say no to what weakens you. Discipline is not only about what you do. It is about what you refuse. Refusing bad habits, toxic patterns, unnecessary drama, and instant gratification is an act of self-respect. Every time you say no to something that harms your growth, you say yes to your potential. A strong mind does not need constant stimulation. It values depth over noise. Understand this clearly: discipline is freedom, not restriction. When you are disciplined, you are not controlled by cravings, impulses, or other people's expectations. You become internally governed. This inner authority is powerful. People can sense it. They may not understand it, but they feel it. It shows in how you speak, how you decide, how you stand your ground. Do not confuse self-discipline with being harsh on yourself. Discipline without compassion leads to burnout. Discipline with compassion leads to mastery. Correct yourself without humiliation. Push yourself without breaking yourself. Growth is not about perfection, it is about commitment. When you fall, discipline teaches you to get back up. Without drama, without excuses, without delay. A strong mind is built when discipline becomes your lifestyle, not a temporary phase. When effort becomes normal, when consistency becomes your identity, when your actions align with your values, even on the days you feel tired, unseen, or unmotivated. This is when self-discipline turns into self-respect. And self-respect turns into a mental strength that no circumstance can take away. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power that has learned restraint. A strong mind does not feel the need to explain itself to everyone. argue with every opinion, or defend every choice. The moment you stop reacting to everything, you begin to control your energy. Most people exhaust themselves mentally because they give opinions access to their peace. A strong mind understands that not every thought deserves a response, and not every person deserves an explanation. You must learn the difference between privacy and secrecy. Privacy protects your growth. Secrecy protects your fear. A strong mind shares selectively, not emotionally. When you tell everyone your plans, you invite unnecessary noise, doubt, and comparison into your process. Silence keeps your intentions clean. It allows you to build without pressure. People will always have something to say, but their words lose power when you stop inviting them into your inner space. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They decide what enters your mental world and what stays outside. Without boundaries, your mind becomes overcrowded with other people's problems, expectations, and projection. You begin to carry weight that is not yours. A strong mind knows when to step back, when to say no, and when to choose distance over explanation. This is not selfishness, this is self-preservation. Stop over-explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Explanation does not create clarity for those who benefit from confusion. The more you explain, the more you leak power. A strong mind communicates clearly once, and then lets action speak. Silence after clarity is confidence. When you are at peace with your decisions, you don't need approval to stand by them. Inner clarity comes when you stop outsourcing your self-worth. When you stop asking everyone what you should do and start listening to yourself. Too many voices create confusion. Too much advice creates paralysis. A strong mind creates space to think, reflect, and feel without interruption. This space is where intuition grows. When your mind is quiet, your direction becomes loud. Silence also teaches emotional discipline. When you don't immediately react, you give your nervous system time to settle. You prevent regret. You protect relationships from unnecessary damage. Reactivity feels powerful in the moment but costs you later. Calm response builds respect, both for yourself and from others. A strong mind chooses long-term peace over short-term satisfaction. Boundaries will upset people who benefited from your lack of them. Expect resistance. Expect guilt. Expect manipulation. These are signs that your boundaries are working. A strong mind does not collapse under emotional pressure. It stays firm without becoming cruel. You can be kind and still be clear. You can be loving and still be unavailable for disrespect. Silence is also how you observe. When you talk less, you see more. You understand patterns, intentions, and energy. You stop being blinded by words and start reading actions. This awareness sharpens your judgment. A strong mind gathers information quietly and decides deliberately. This makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability intimidates those who rely on control. You don't need to announce your growth. You don't need to prove your healing. You don't need to explain your boundaries. Let your consistency do the talking. Let your peace be the answer. When you protect your inner world, you move differently. You speak with intention. You listen with depth. You choose with confidence. The strong mind is calm, clear, and contained. It knows that silence is not absence, it is presence. And boundaries are not rejection, they are respect. When you master silence and boundaries, you reclaim your mental energy, sharpen your focus, and step into a level of inner clarity that makes your presence powerful even when you say nothing. The voice you listen to the most is the one inside your head, and whether you realize it or not, that voice is shaping your entire life. A strong mind is not one that never hears doubt. It is one that does not obey it blindly. Every thought you repeat becomes a command to your nervous system. If you constantly tell yourself that you are weak, late, unlucky, or behind, your mind will work hard to prove you right. But if you learn to speak to yourself with awareness and direction, your mind becomes your strongest ally instead of your loudest enemy. Your inner dialogue was not born with you, it was learned. It was shaped by experiences, criticism, failures, comparisons, and expectation. The problem is that many people never update this internal language. They keep speaking to themselves from a place of old wounds and outdated beliefs. A strong mind questions its thoughts. It asks, is this true? Is this helpful? Is T.S. mine? This questioning alone breaks the automatic power of negativity. Stop confusing honesty with self-abuse. Being real with yourself does not mean tearing yourself down. Growth requires accountability, not humiliation. When you make a mistake, the weak inner voice says you always mess up, you are not good enough. The strong inner voice says you made a mistake. Now adjust and move forward. That difference changes how long you stay stuck. Harsh self-talk drains energy. Constructive self-talk creates momentum. Your brain responds to repetition, not intention. Saying positive words once does nothing. Repeating empowering language daily rewires neural pathways. This is mental training. When fear shows up, don't say, "I can't handle this." Say, "This is uncomfortable, but I can manage it." When progress feels slow, don't say, "I'm failing." Say, "I'm learning at my pace." These are not lies. They are reframes that keep your mind functional under pressure. Be careful what you say to yourself in moments of exhaustion. Tired minds exaggerate problems and minimize strength. A strong mind recognizes this and delays judgment. It rests without self-attack. It understands that thoughts are influenced by physical and emotional states. This awareness prevents unnecessary self-sabotage. Sometimes strength is not pushing harder, it is speaking kinder. Your inner dialogue sets the emotional climate you live in. If your internal environment is hostile, no external success will feel safe. You will always be waiting for collapse. A strong mind creates an inner environment that is firm but supportive. It challenges itself without crushing itself. This balance allows growth without burnout. Stop narrating your life like a tragedy. You are not cursed, you are evolving. Language shapes meaning. When you describe your experiences as proof of failure, your mind tightens. When you describe them as part of development, your mind stays open. A strong mind does not deny reality. It frames it in a way that allows forward movement. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you care about deeply. With honesty, patience, and belief. Not with pity, not with excuses, but with encouragement and direction. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Over time, your inner voice stops interrupting your progress and starts guiding it. When you change the way you speak to yourself, you change the instructions your mind receives. Your reactions shift, your confidence stabilizes. Your decisions become calmer, and slowly, without noise or announcement, your inner dialogue transforms from a battlefield into a source of strength that carries you through pressure, uncertainty, and growth with steady resolve. Purpose is the anchor that keeps your mind steady when life tries to pull you apart. Without purpose, every struggle feels heavy, personal, and endless. With purpose, even pain begins to make sense. A strong mind does not ask how hard this is. It asks why this matters. The moment you connect your effort to a deeper reason, your endurance increases. You stop seeing challenges as interruptions and start seeing them as preparation. Many people wait for purpose to appear like a sudden realization. But purpose is not found, it is chosen. It is built by committing to something bigger than comfort. It could be growth, service, impact, healing, or becoming the person you once needed. When your mind has a clear direction, confusion loses power. Fear still shows up, but it no longer decides your actions. Purpose gives fear a place, but not authority. A strong mind understands that motivation will come and go, but purpose stays. On days when energy is low and progress feels invisible, purpose is what gets you out of bed. It reminds you that today's effort is not just about today, it is about who you are becoming. When you know why you are walking this path, you stop comparing your pace to others. You stop quitting because it's slow. You keep moving because it matters. Purpose transforms struggle into strength. When you see hardship as part of your assignment, you stop resenting it. You begin to cooperate with it. Every obstacle becomes a skill-building exercise. Every setback becomes feedback. This mindset trains your brain to stay solution-focused under pressure. Instead of collapsing, you adapt. Instead of blaming, you refine. This adaptability is mental power. Living without purpose makes the mind fragile. Small problems feel overwhelming. Opinions feel threatening. Delays feel personal. But when you are rooted in purpose, your identity stabilizes. You are no longer defined by results alone. You are defined by intention. This creates emotional resilience. You can lose something and not lose yourself. You can fail and not feel finished. Purpose also demands responsibility. It forces you to grow up mentally. When something matters deeply to you, excuses feel heavy. You start asking more from yourself. You become disciplined, not because you are strict, but because you are devoted. Devotion creates consistency. Consistency creates mastery. Mastery creates confidence that does not need validation. A strong mind revisits its purpose often. It checks alignment. It asks whether actions match values. This reflection keeps you honest. It prevents burnout and bitterness. When you drift, purpose pulls you back. When you doubt yourself, purpose reminds you why you started. This inner reminder is more powerful than external encouragement. Do not wait for perfect clarity to begin. Purpose becomes clearer through action. Start where you are, use what you have, learn as you move. Each step reveals the next. A strong mind does not freeze in uncertainty. It moves with intention even when the path is not fully visible. When your mind is connected to purpose, you stop fearing failure because failure becomes part of the process. You stop fearing judgment because you are accountable to something higher than opinion. You stop fearing struggle because struggle becomes meaningful. This is the kind of mental strength that changes how you walk, how you speak, how you decide. It makes you steady in chaos and focused in uncertainty. People feel it in your presence because you are not chasing approval, you are chasing alignment. And when your mind is aligned with purpose, nothing that tries to stop you feels stronger than the reason you keep going.